Are you saying hi too? Okay, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's video. Look at this crazy hair. It's like a lion's mane. I swear my hair has a mind of its own. Anyways, so today's video, I wanted to discuss a few things. First thing is that my blood sugar this morning was 89, adding the starch back in. So we're going to talk about why that is the case. Oh, Fruit Sugar Love, welcome. You're the first one here. She says, hi, Victoria, you look wonderful. Thank you, my dear. I really appreciate your support and your wonderful comments. So, my fasting blood glucose came in at 89 this morning, and that's after having fruit, sugar, veggies, and lots of white rice last night. Perfection. My energy level has been better today. And yeah, so I think it's really cute that this whole sugar fasting, sugar diet thing is going on right now. And because it's really good for the high carb, low fat movement. It's good for people to not think that sugar's bad, but like, let's not, use this sugar fast, sugar diet as a weight loss diet. Like, it does produce weight loss results, but we don't need to be intentionally avoiding certain foods in order to get the results that we desire. Like, the concept behind this diet is that you can eat as much as you want of your favorite high carb foods. What I talk about in my coaching program is using the low calorie density carbohydrates, which by default end up being fruit and starches, with higher calorie density carbohydrate options like juice, sugar, dried fruit, flour products, in order to meet your daily carbohydrate needs and to promote satiety, as well as insulin sensitivity and all the things that you want out of your health, fitness, aesthetic, right? It all comes from you honoring your appetite, you eating as much food as you want. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I have been watching Cut the Gut. That guy, the skeleton guy, okay? And I brought him up yesterday in my live, and he has made a few comments in responses to questions that have made me think that there's something else going on here, okay? This guy is intentionally trying to stick to a lower calorie density diet, and he is eating in a way that he is only eating as much as his body quote unquote needs, okay? So what I wanted to bring up is that on several occasions now he has mentioned that he can overeat on starch. So starch is a problem food. It will hinder your weight loss because people overeat on it, which I really believe that overeating is a subjective term, meaning that I don't subscribe to overeating. If your body can eat an entire bag of Sour Patch Kids, it's likely that it needed to, and it won't need to continue to do that if you regularly are meeting your carbohydrate needs. Okay, so I had Sour Patch Kids today, and I had probably about 10 and my desire to eat the whole bag was not there because I also had a vitamin water this morning, a half of a watermelon, and then I had the Sour Patch Kids, and then I had clementines, and then I had raisins, and then I had an apple, and then I had a slushie from the gas station when I went to get my car cleaned, and then I had dates, a whole packet of dates, 8 ounces of dates. So you can see there that, like, for every item that is low calorie density, I'm having like a higher calorie density like add-on with it, right? And dates are higher in calorie density. They're a drier food. So basically when you remove the water from a food, it concentrates the carbohydrates, it concentrates the calories, and that makes it higher calorie density. You're basically getting more carbs with less volume. So if you are like me and find that you are not able to get enough energy from just eating low calorie density foods exclusively, or especially fruits and vegetables, then you're going to want to keep this in mind about pairing your low calorie density foods with these higher calorie density options, all right? With sugar being one as well. So everything you eat, you want it to be according to your appetite. But if you find yourself like thinking that you're overeating on starch or you're overeating on dates, because that was mentioned in Skeleton Guy's Cut the Gut channel, his latest video, is that he waits to eat his dates until the very end of the day so that he doesn't overeat them. And he didn't say how many dates he has, but he insinuated that eating 20 to 30 dates in a day was overeating dates. Now, I know that many of you on this channel are familiar with Freely the Banana Girl, and she is quite famously known for consuming about 20 dates in a Datorade smoothie. She would have this all the time back in the day. I'm sure she still regularly has it. She's very open about using sugar now. She's probably been, other than myself, the most consistent person with this protocol because basically she created it. Her enduring rider came up with this concept of eating raw till 4, fruit till 4, a fruit-based diet, that sugar isn't bad, and you know the science is there to back it up. So that's what I did with my coaching program, is I just provided the evidence to support this diet. So going back to this concept though of overeating on carbohydrates, so the Skeleton Guy also said that somebody asked him about cereal, Honey Bunches of Oats cereal in particular, and he said that he doesn't eat cereal because he could eat the entire box of cereal. So here's the deal, okay? The reason why this diet works so well, the high carb, low fat, plant-based diet that's centered on fruits, starches, and sugars for your calorie intake, for your energy intake, for your fuel intake, okay, is that you don't end up craving other things, okay? When I eat fruit all day, sugar to taste, as much dates as I want, as much fruit as I want, as much rice as I want, I regulate my appetite hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Okay, this is what happens when you honor your appetite. I never feel like I'm going to eat too much, okay? Today I got a slushie, and I thought about getting the small one, but I wanted to share it with my son because he likes them. So I got the big one, and you know, he takes like a few sips. He actually dropped it and like some of it came out, but I got the big one because I wanted to make sure that I got in as much as I wanted and needed of those sugars, okay? I always err on the side of eating more than I think that I'm going to need. I never eat to like make myself sick, but I eat until I'm comfortably full and my body says, hey, we don't want any more. And when you eat enough carbs every day, you don't have the sensation to binge on a food. And if you do, okay, skeleton guy saying that I could easily eat an entire box of Costco medjool dates in a sitting before bed means that his body actually needs those calories, okay? And he's telling his body no because he's trying to get to as low body fat percentage as physically possible. Now, he thinks what he's doing is healthy. And I think that he is utilizing the fact that he's never been on a diet, never done a fast, nothing like that. He's using his metabolism, his metabolic rate in an interesting way, okay? So he's giving his body carbohydrates, but he's maintaining some kind of calorie deficit intentionally. And he's made this claim himself, is that he doesn't think that you can lose weight without a calorie deficit. So he's intentionally like not allowing himself to gorge himself on higher calorie density carbohydrate foods, which would be starches, dried fruit, having a lot more sugar, eating cereal, things like that. So that is what I'm trying to get across to you guys today, is that one, my blood sugar went up not eating starch, okay? So there's two things to that. One would be that my body has been through periods of not having enough food, not sleeping enough, doing too much, exertion. So it's very sensitive to, oh, you didn't eat enough that day, you didn't eat your starch, you didn't provide us with the complex carbs that we wanted to rebuild our glycogen overnight. Okay, gluconeogenesis turned on, liver's making sugar from your muscles. Okay, so the other side of that, let's take the skeleton guy, for instance, because he's never dieted and he's never restricted his calories, and he's still not restricting his carbohydrate intake per se, but in my opinion, the rate that he's going and his body fat percentage, he's kind of headed towards a cliff, especially if he thinks that he can overeat on dates. Okay, so that just and he's not showing blood sugar data, which would possibly come back normal. And he is showing some power data via his Strava uploads, but just everything looks good on paper, right? But the statements that I overeat on this, I overeat on that, and then the guy made a claim also today that he is within the normal BMI range, and he's not. 5'11", 130 pounds puts you in the underweight BMI category, okay? He also mentioned that he is of Asian descent, which means that it's likely he has a small frame. Many Asians typically have smaller bone structure, and smaller bones, not like, versus like Samoans, right? So a little bit of, maybe he's able to carry or hold a smaller weight because he is of that descent. There's lots of factors, but 5'11", 130 pounds is a BMI of 18.1. So, we'll just have to see where he's going, but I don't want people to use this as a fad. Like, and that's the way that he goes about it. He's like, I'm doing a sugar fast, right? So that implies that this isn't something I'm going to be able to do forever. But but this diet is something that you can do forever. I've been doing it for over 13 years. I've had a very incredible results. I've had 3 pregnancies. I've breastfed, done extended breastfeeding with all 3 of my children. I'm right now placing in the running races that I'm doing. So it gives you really good results, and I'm here to be the fallback person, as I always am, for those who are interested in sustainability. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the questions. Thank you for listening to my 15-minute rant. Okay, here we go. Hello, I subscribed. I hope you succeed. Thank you. And I'm in it for the long haul. 10 years from now, I'm still going to be doing the same thing. 5 years from now, still going to be doing the same thing. 20 years from now, I'm still going to be doing the same thing. And I was sent a link that of a video that was done kind of like trying to make fun of me and like my Bart K interview, and it's a really popular like YouTube channel. I don't remember what the name of it is. Kent Carnivore. And there is never anything that comes out of the dude's mouth that is like significant, right? But he's just like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And then you have some other British guy who's like trying to explain things. But the thing that stood out to me in that video, I watched about a few minutes of it, and I was just like, oh wow, this is really good like publicity. I can't talk today. For me, because I was like, oh, this if I'm an outsider looking at it, I'm like, okay, this chick looks good. She eats as much as she wants to, and she eats carbs. Like, I want to be able to do that, right? And so I'm listening to this video, and then as soon as they say that glucose is toxic, I'm just like, are people really that dumb, like, to think that something that your body makes and relies on for energy production is toxic if you consume it? Like, come on, uh, let's be smarter than that, okay? Anyways, hi Jessica. Hi, she says hi. I love all these lives. Thank you for always being here. I really appreciate your support. Okay. Jessica says, Cole's live too. Yeah, he's using it for temporary weight loss, then going back to eating meat a couple days and back to sugar fasting to keep weight down. It just sounds like a bad idea. One, the meat is going to keep your IGF-1 elevated and also keep you insulin resistant to a certain extent. Because you're going to be turning that protein into glucose if you're not consuming enough glucose. And then if you're not consuming enough glucose, you're also going to be catabolizing protein. So a lot of people have been making comments to the Cut the Gut Skeletor guy about that, because he's very, very skinny, and he has very little muscle definition. And it could be that, when you don't eat enough carbs, your body does catabolize muscle tissue as well. And some people say, well, how come he's not like gaining weight yet? Anorexics will die from catabolizing their heart tissue, okay? So, and they're generally very, very, very skinny with low body fat percentage, but they haven't been eating enough calories, so their body is breaking down the protein. So that's something to keep in mind, that if you're not eating enough carbs and you're running out of fat, your body is going to be turning, and even if you're not running out of fat, your body's still turning protein into glucose. So even though glucose is muscle sparing, it's only muscle sparing if you are meeting all of your energy requirements and you're not needing to use protein for energy production because you're not taking in enough glucose. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Oh, Nicholas Light says, are great as always. Thank you. I pride myself on being extremely consistent and transparent. Greetings from Anaheim, California. I like your little emoji. What is that, like a mummy? Okay. Jessica says, I noticed that when I just eat fruit, I don't really feel satisfied and could constantly eat all day, but when I add sugar, I feel satisfied and feel good for a couple of hours. Yeah, I mean, the sugar is providing the calorie density that the fruit inherently is missing, right? People have died of anorexia eating a fruitarian diet. Uh, that mango guy, um, gosh, I'm not supposed to say that word either. It's like such a trigger for YouTube. And then there was that one chick, I can't remember what her name is, but I still see her images kind of floating around because she is like the poster person for like how to do it wrong, right? So the body doesn't care. It's going to, keep your appetite going if you don't eat enough. And, adding sugar to fruit, I think, is the perfect combination if the fruit's not sweet enough and it's not satiating, because high Brix value fruit would contain the sugar that fruit that you're having is missing, that would be promoting the satiety. High Brix fruit is like the ultimate for nutritional density in terms of carbohydrate and macronutrients, polyphenols, antioxidants, things like that. So I think we live in a modern world and we have access to the foods that can allow us to optimize our potential. Like, this is a relatively novel concept of eating this way. Most of Throughout most of history, people haven't had access to enough food. And then when people did have access to enough food, like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, they were eating upwards of 3,000 calories a day and lots of sugar. So sugar raises the metabolism. It helps us to generate more energy and be able to do more things. And I think if you are used to that and then you do an experiment and not eat enough for a day, like, you'll feel it, right? Our metabolism works the best when we give it sufficient carbohydrate calories every day and keep our diet low in fat. And ironically, that's what creates insulin sensitivity as well. Okay, but we have, all those backup metabolic pathways to keep us alive when there's not enough glucose. And your metabolic rate is going to be subject to, how often you have enough glucose. Okay, I know it's not related, but were you born beautiful or born to be beautiful? Oh, that's very nice of you to say. Well, I think that there's definitely genetics involved, but this diet that I follow, this lifestyle that I follow, definitely optimizes my genetic potential aesthetically. Okay. Sponge Knob. I love that. SpongeBob was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, and my kids like it too. And they say, SpongeBob says, I eat all my dates. And that is how it should be. Like, I find dates to be extremely self-limiting. If you need to eat a whole bunch of dates, like, when I can pound the dates, it means that I haven't had any other food, okay? I need the carbs. But after I ate my 8-ounce packet of dates, which is about what I average, about a half a pound, maybe 10 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces of dates a day, um, that just hits a spot, right? Like, and I don't want any more dates. Like, I'm good. And then because I eat the dates and I eat all the carbs and I eat all the sugars, I do not crave chocolates, cookies, cakes. Even though I have a really good cake recipe, I just don't even like desire it the majority of the time because I'm eating enough carbs from fruit and sugar. It just hits a spot. Also digests really well. I don't have a problem digesting gluten, but I do find that I feel my best when I'm eating fruits, sugars, and rice. I know a lot of people are like, what about the potatoes? You gotta find what starch works best for you. I also do really well on my pizza recipe, which is a gluten based. But I do feel like my lightest and most energized when I'm eating fruit, sugar, rice, and some vegetables. I have done some days on like the Walter Kempner program, which is really, I think, where the sugar diet should be at. One, the rice diet has been clinically proven to uh, work for obesity or weight loss and clearing up certain health conditions. So why not just do that instead? I think that Cole Robinson is a chronic uh, dieter. I mean, that's what he like specializes in. That's why people follow him, is because he was like doing all this fasting stuff and keto stuff, and now he's doing the carb thing. But he doesn't like have it down exactly, you know. Even though he's gotten really great results, it's because the carbs have improved his metabolic function. But you can't like go about this like it's a fad diet, okay? It's not going to be sustainable that way. Anyways, oh, someone says, are you having a good day today? Tristan, yes, I am. I've been pretty productive. I always have more that I could be doing. Like, I really want to get my ebook done, but I have so many other things always going on. It's getting there. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. There's not a whole lot of questions coming in. Thank you so much for being here today, all 64 of you. I really appreciate you and your support. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I finally hit over 13K subs, which is really exciting because for a while my channel like wasn't growing, but I also wasn't uploading as much as I am now. Oh, that's a fruit snack. So that definitely, you know, if you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, you need to be consistent, just like with anything. Like, you reap what you sow. Anyways, thanks so much for joining. Bye. Say bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. Carb up. Eat all the carbs, fruit, sugar, starch. Yum.